It's Krishna Day, and you'll find me at bizgrowthnews.com. It's interesting because today I thought there were going to be all SMEs, but I'm actually finding some large companies here as well who've brought other people along with them. I think in terms of innovation, I think there's some amazing things that are going on. Companies that I meet with are doing some terrific things. Interestingly, just as in fact one of the speakers was talking about, that some of it's often related to being able to be fleet of foot. I think there's a thing that we can do in small businesses of being faster off the mark. I was actually quite surprised because I think Ronan Lyons, you'll find him on Twitter, in fact at Ronan Lyons, but he was saying that large companies in the US will be able to make change faster. And what I'm noticing is that here in Ireland, it's the smaller organisations who can make quick decisions. Sometimes they need a little bit of guidance how to do so, but actually very often it's all about the fact of they don't have to go through a long chain of command. They know that they need to be fast off the mark. They know they need to be differentiated, and they're exploring technology, which I think is fantastic, and why you're probably seeing so many of them here today. There was one company I was talking to, and they were a photographer, and in fact they were established in the last recession. Many people might know them. Photogenic is the company. They do terrific award-winning photography, and I was speaking to them in the break, and they were saying that actually one of the things for them is about how they use customer data, how that can really help them, because they've got a huge database, and one of the opportunities for them is to have better keep-in-touch strategies for them, which is perhaps something that they might not have invested in the past. But certainly in terms of, I think most companies are now not just looking at starting up, there's new startups all the time. There's great support from the enterprise boards for them, but I think it's also about marketing. And Richard Farley, I think, said it all for me, was that very often in terms of business, what they're able to do is he's had some great business opportunities, but he's always concerned about, particularly in terms of technology companies and web-based companies, how effective they are at marketing. And I think we're all learning that that's important for us to look at. I think here in Ireland, where we're at the moment is that we're still in an education place. So what I'm noticing is a lot of communications people or marketing people are still trying to get to grips with how social media can make a difference. The usual questions that I get asked is, well, which one first? And actually, will it make a difference? And am I going to make any money out of it? And usually also, how much time is it going to take? My current popular saying at the moment is, because there's such a low barrier for entry in terms of engaging in social media, and it's been touched on here today, be it blogging or Facebook or Twitter, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And for me, it's all back to looking at your business strategy. What are your goals? Who are the people you're trying to connect with, and where are they, and how can the different platforms be integrated as part of our communications platform? But you guys know that already.
What can brands do to embrace social media? What are you advising them to do?
First off, listen. If you don't even have to be active in terms of content production, the first thing I would recommend you do is listen. What are the conversations that are going on about you? Are you prepared to actually embrace those conversations? Are they happening on blogs or Twitter or in Facebook? And from there, you'll get some great information to be able to take the next step. But please start with listening.
And what are you taking home with you today following the conference here?
I'm taking home some really interesting examples that Richard Farley gave, I think particularly in terms of, it was fantastic to hear somebody of his stature talking about the mistakes he's made, because I think very often we're not prepared to always do that. And I think there were some useful learnings in there. I'm really looking forward to the other sessions that we're going to hear later on in terms of as we get into technology and applications and some of the debates. And most of all, I'm just enjoying being able to connect and have conversations. It's interesting watching the back channel on Twitter. People can go to #FutureFocus and see there's lots of people in the room actually twittering, but it's also nice to have the real life face-to-face conversation too.